Between two sleepy towns outside Yokohama, a Meiji-era brick tunnel cuts through the hillside like a red-mouthed gar. People use it when they miss the last bus, muttering a quick prayer at the mouth where ivy hangs like a curtain. They say the tunnel eats sound. First your echo, then your breath, and if you're careless, your name. Chapter 1: The Shortcut Through the Hills. It was the kind of late that makes a town feel borrowed. Shutters clacked, vending machines purred to themselves. Daisuke missed the last bus by a minute and considered the long switchback down to the highway before turning toward the hill. The tunnel's arch rose out of weeds, Meiji brick gone the color of dried blood, mortar veined with white lime. Old posters clung in translucent flakes, lost pet, festival dates long past, a safety notice whose ink had been rinsed almost clean. He stepped from cricket stitching night into tunnel shadow. Air changed at once, cool, mineral, holding water the way a sponge holds memory. The ceiling's bricks curved in horseshoe courses, blackened by a century of exhaust. Somewhere ahead, a drip worked at a stalactite with metronomic patience. His steps sounded normal at first, heel toe ringing off the curve. His bag strap creaked, a familiar leather complaint. The tunnel smelled of damp clay, rust, and old concrete, the same tang that lingers on hands after touching a stone bridge. A breath of wind, impossible underground, brushed his ankles like something tasting where he began and ended. Lamps and wire cages stood 30 paces apart, their sodium light pooling into gold coins on the floor. In those coins he saw the scuff and smear of generations, bike tires, boots, school shoes. A hand-painted sign leaned crooked on stainless anchors, proceed without stopping. Someone had chalked a smaller line beneath in schoolboy kana, because it prefers you moving. The chalk had been half wiped, as if the tunnel had licked its lip. He smiled at himself, at the dramatics of an overworked brain, and put his earbuds in. The first song bloomed, then thinned, then went tinny, like music under 6 feet of water. He pulled the buds out. The tunnel reclaimed the silence, polite and absolute, like a host waiting for a guest to introduce himself. Chapter 2: Echoes That Fade. He tested the acoustics the way kids do in gymnasiums. Sumimasen? The word left his tongue warm, landed nowhere. No bounce, no smear. Not even the dull thud of too many coats on a wall. His footsteps, once tidy companions, became shy and then absent, as if embarrassed to be caught repeating themselves. The only sounds that remained were internal, the soft pop of his eardrums adjusting, the tick of saliva in the throat, the scuff of his bag against jacket zipper teeth. Daisuke slowed. Counting would keep him steady. Ichi, ni, san. Numbers paced him like beads passing a monk's thumb. At Juroku, the syllables lost friction, becoming breath with the shape of words, but not the words themselves. He felt the failure. The tunnel learned his rhythm, took it apart, and set it back wrong. A drip ahead marked irregular time. Pause, as if the tunnel practiced forgetting that water falls evenly. He swept his phone's light along the wall. Tally marks etched in chalk ran shoulder high, clusters of 5 interrupted by a long diagonal slash, then more clusters. Near them, a fingertip smear kneaded damp mortar into a comet tail, ending midair. Below, the floor carried tracks of mud, only where people had entered. Dust farther in lay the way dust lies in locked rooms. He pressed his palm to the brick to leave his own mark. Moisture turned skin to cold glass. When he lifted, no handprint remained, only a briefly drier patch that darkened back as if inhaling through pores. He tried humming. The tune died in his mouth like a secret reconsidered. The sensation of walking detached from the sound of walking. His body did the math, but the numbers refused to show their work. Fear, he told himself, is just balance looking for handrails. He picked a lamp pool ahead and aimed for it, a ship steering by coins of light on a black sea that insisted the sea was not there. Chapter 3. The Sound That Returns. Halfway, if halfway existed, he noticed it, another cadence. Not echo, not lag. Steps where steps should not be. Calm as a metronome that has outlived the music. He stopped. The other sound took one more pace and rested. He held his breath. The tunnel held it with him. When he resumed, so did it, a respectful escort who keeps just enough distance to make argument impolite. He tried tricks. Quick, slow, quick. It learned. Heel drag, tap. It learned. He turned suddenly, swinging his light. The tunnel behind looked like the one ahead, a throat repeating itself. In the beam, rain-shined bricks showed nothing but their pitted skins, except for one place where the mortar bulged as if a thumb pushed from inside. He stepped toward it. The bulge smoothed between blinks, like water erasing a footprint at shore. A maintenance alcove should have been a recess with a locked steel door. Tonight it was an open mouth, black within black. He raised the light, only wall, seamless. His skin crawled with the specific shame of being tricked by a hallway. The proceed without stopping sign appeared again, though he was sure it had been 20 paces behind. Its screws wore crescent scratches like old fingernail marks. A tremor rose through the floor, not seismic, but animal, like a sleeper adjusting in a bed. Dust lifted and settled without drifting. The second cadence drew close enough that he could place weight, not sneakers, not boots, something wooden on something stone. A memory surfaced from childhood television. Geta. He almost laughed. The sound, whatever corner of air would have held it, went elsewhere. He felt its absence as a small theft behind the sternum. When he whispered his own name to test what the tunnel might take next, it came out as breath shaped like a name and did not return to him. He walked faster. The other steps matched, then with sudden courtesy stepped aside, as if granting him the center that kept moving away. Chapter 4. At the tunnel's mouth. Light gathered ahead the way dawn gathers behind lids. Pink, then gold, then the honest white of fluorescence caged in steel. The circle of the exit held steady, finally not receding. He did not run. Running is a kind of conversation. He set his feet with the care of someone carrying soup across tatami. The air thinned, sound, faint and cheap as a vending machine chime, returned the edges. Traffic hiss, a dog 2 valleys away, the clockwork click of insects. Outside, the night tasted of wet leaves, ramen broth drifting from a late shop, and the penny sting of rain that hadn't arrived yet. He bent, hands on thighs, and laughed once, because he had to put something back into the world with breath in it. When he straightened, the laughter folded quiet of its own accord. A man in a reflective vest stood by the guardrail, baton tucked under his arm, face lined in the way of people who have learned patient work. His laminated badge read, "Tunnel Maint, Temporary," letters fogged along the edges by age. He looked at Daisuke's shoes and nodded toward a bucket by his feet. Inside, a pale powder lay like sifted bones. "Lime dust," the man mouthed, as if sound might still be delicate here. Daisuke's black shoes wore a fine chalking of it, toe to heel, though he had not brushed any bag or bucket within. "Name,"
the man asked, louder now. Daisuke opened his mouth and felt his own answer fail to lift. He reached for his phone, lock screen, photo of his cat, the date, and where his name should be, the field showed blank as the inside of the tunnel. The man's expression did not change. He produced a small notepad, wrote "Crossroads" in neat block characters, and pressed the page into Daisuke's palm. Folding his fingers shot around paper that felt warmer than his skin. "Paper keeps what air loses," he said. "Walk the route on it. Don't look back until the second light." Daisuke obeyed without asking which light was first.
Chapter 5. The Tunnel's Forgotten History. By day, roads remember differently. Daisuke returned with sun on his shoulders and found a small concrete shelf by the mouth he had missed in the dark. A roadside altar with tea tins refilled as vases, 3 origami cranes softened by dew, a photograph clouded under its plastic sleeve, 2 teenagers with summer haircuts grinning around a single bike. Incense ash made a gray starburst on the ledge. A note in clear handwriting read, "Please keep walking." An elderly man in a work cap trimmed grass with shears that had outlived several handles. "Flood," he said when Daisuke greeted him, chin flicking toward the mountain. "Years back, water filled the tunnel fast as a thrown bucket. 2 kids, foolish, fast, thought they could outrun rain. Echo never came back right after. You shout and the walls swallow. You step and the floor likes the quiet." He set the shears down and dusted his knees. "So we give sound something else to hold. Paper with names, routes written down, bells that ring at the mouth. Spirits get stuck when nothing reflects them." The man showed him the ritual the neighborhood had made from problem and grief. Walk in pairs when you can. If alone, count aloud and carry paper. Touch wood at each lamp cage. Leave a crane or a matchbox car at the altar if the tunnel has taken anything from you. "It took my grandson's way home once," he added without drama. Paper gave it back. Daisuke wrote his name carefully on a fresh page and tucked it under a tea tin, the way you slide a message under someone's door when you don't want to wake them. The next night he avoided the tunnel, not from fear, but from etiquette. Liminal places have manners. He walked the long, noisy switchbacks, counting his steps into air that knew how to answer, and felt each number return to him with the soft relief of a friend's, "I hear you." If a place refuses your echo, it will take other things in trade. Carry paper. Speak your name where wind can answer. And if a tunnel eats your steps, leave it hungry and walk where your voice can find you again. Meiji-era brick tunnels and wartime or flood accidents are common anchors for modern kaidan. Their curved walls can kill echo. Moisture, lime, and age alter acoustics. Roadside altars with photos, incense, and cranes memorialize victims. Posted signs like "Proceed without stopping" are practical and become folklore. Writing names or routes on paper, salting thresholds, and walking in pairs echo Japanese folk logic. Give the self an anchor and the world a way to reflect you back.